Hello everybody. This is quite a different sort of interview today because it's me sitting in the hot seat, which is so not like me. I tend to do this to everyone else, but you'll see on screen I have this gorgeous woman, Teresa.
Anna, I was following you for a long time, really impressed with WAFA and your whole ethos, and I had lots and lots of friends who are either in it and working for you or been through your classes and everything, and just I knew they loved it. My story is I'm a coach, and I do coaching in the corporate world, but also with like hundreds of women. I coach hundreds of women in sort of a program with an organisation called Tech Pixies who upskill women in social media. One of my things is I cannot believe how hard women are on themselves. You know, I get that multiplied by hundreds every week. And I just find it really disturbing that we speak to ourselves sort of internally and externally. The stories we tell ourselves are so harsh. And I'm kind of on my mission to kind of redress that balance in a way.
I think I was just 40 and I thought I've really got to find something that's going to give me some sort of purpose in life. I just felt very empty in the jobs that I was doing. I just never felt like I was achieving, never felt fulfilled. You know, I just always felt like I had an imposter syndrome, which is another topic altogether.
Well, you and every other woman in the planet.
Well, exactly. And so, but anyway, so I said to my husband, I thought, right, okay, up to when I retire, I've got to find something I think I could see myself doing. And so I'd really got into exercise, having always been the chubby kid at school and not doing exercise, finding every reason not to exercise. In my 20s, I discovered exercise. I had a quite unhealthy relationship with that and around food. Again, we can maybe talk about that. But I decided, I thought, you know, I think I could be a personal trainer because I'm really good with people. I like exercising. And actually, I think that could marry quite well. So I then basically, unbeknown to my boss at the time, I decided to do my diploma in personal training and qualified. It took me about 1.5 years, 2 years. And then I started personal training. And so I left the sort of marketing world. I got a part-time job back at my old company, who were very kind to me at the time, actually, and let me go back to do 3 days a week. And then I started personal training. And that was my starting point, and it was called We Are Fit Attitude. But what I found was that I was really good one-to-one. I knew I'd be good as a personal trainer. There was no question about that. Yeah. I was only training one-to-one. And I felt like there was something missing. You know, it's called We Are Fit Attitude, yet it was almost like I am fit attitude. And it was I was about sort of 4 years in, and I loved my clients, but I started seeing the same clients each week, and I was doing the same thing. And I was just being paid to tell them what to do in terms of burpees or sit-ups. And you know, don't get me wrong, I still have friends, and some of them are now WAFAs. So it's not to disrespect what I did then, but I felt that something was missing. And so I decided to try groups of women at the athletics track where I was teaching already. And I thought I'm going to give it a go, and I'm going to just do women because for some reason I felt a bit more comfortable being with women. I'm a woman. I understand women's problems, and I'm a woman. I've been through so much crap in my time. I put myself through so much as well. So I thought I'm going to give it a go. And I literally started out. I did some Facebook advertising. I did have a business coach who I'm still with today, who I love to pieces. He is a man, but he's young, but he's incredible. He was real. He helped me. But I was like, I'm going to do women. And I started with 24 women in June 2018. They came to the athletics track 3 times a week for 6 weeks. Yeah. I gave them a 28-day meal plan and a lifestyle guide that I wrote literally in about 24 hours. And it happened in 2 weeks.
Mm.
And I never thought, you know, that in just over 2 years, well, no, 2.5 years now, I've got 200 members. I have a team of women who are helping me deliver the WAFA promise. Just a whole different experience. It's quite incredible, really.
But something was driving you towards that, wasn't it? To where you are today. What was your motivation to kind of keep going and to grow? Because 24 women to start off with is quite a significant number.
Yeah.
But to go from 24 to 200 in 2 years is quite some achievement.
It is. And I think it's because, number one, I realized I found something that I was actually good at. You know, I got some really positive feedback from the women, the 24 women that I work with. And I just thought, this is my purpose.
Mm.
I've got an opportunity now to do something that's going to give me great joy, that I can love doing, put all my passion and energy into, and do some good.
Was it because you saw the results? You took women from A on a journey
Yeah,
to Z or wherever it was along the scale, and you could see, you know, the fruits of your work and your efforts and your passion, and that kind of kept, you know, fueled your motivation to sort of perpetuate and grow.
I think it was, so I've always had, so I'm 48 now, I had huge confidence issues growing up. I was all life and soul of the party, had loads of friends. So, you know, anybody that would look at me and be like, what are you talking about? But I was deep down inside, lacked confidence, lacked self-belief, looked at everyone else, thought they were better than me. Didn't see that I was capable of so much more. Didn't believe I could be capable of so much more. So I had no confidence in myself whatsoever. And when I started with these 24 women, it was almost like a sort of a pivotal moment that suddenly I was doing something with 24 women. And you're right, it's a lot of women. And I was like, I can make this big. I can make this much bigger. And actually, do you know what? I can do it. And I just had that. Don't get me wrong, I had the support of my husband and my business coach. He was because I had wobbles, I had lots of wobbles, but I had sort of people around me who I knew trusted in me, and that I trusted in them, so that they just kept nudging me forward. But also I became the driving force.
So you kind of took control, because to have that moment you said, I can do it, you know, and I mean, you know, for women to get fit and to take control of their own bodies, I guess, I know from my sort of history with dieting from way back at being a young girl, I was always waiting for that moment to say, yes, I can do it. And sometimes that moment came, but it was always massive spaces. And I always knew I just have to get to that moment where I could say I could do it, but I just couldn't reach it or grab onto it. And those moments don't come often in life, do they?
No.
Or do they?
Well,
Yeah.
I think that for whatever reason, women are really good at being negative about themselves. And it's really become my mission, having done it for 40 odd years. I've decided for the rest of my life, I'm no longer going to be that person. And not only that, but I'm going to try my damnedest to work with women and help them to stop the negative noise that goes on in their heads and start to see their potential. You know, we jump to negativity before we can say anything positive about ourselves. And it's such a waste of time and energy. It doesn't do anyone good. No, it doesn't do you personally good. It doesn't do the people around you any good.
No. It serves absolutely zero purpose, because what I know from coaching is that nothing, no hope comes from negativity. I think it's something to do with, you know, when we were walking the earth, we had to look out for things that were going to kill us. And our brains, we've got this propensity to to fear dangers and less of a propensity to look for things which keep us alive. In those days, it would have been food and berries.
Yeah.
So we're more geared to the to look for things that will kill us. But the only thing is, I think our brains haven't caught up with modern life. But nonetheless, it's not helpful. Knowing it, you still not need to know what to do about it.
It isn't helpful, and I think you're absolutely right. I think if I'd done some neuroscience, I think you're absolutely right. But I think, so for me, I think that what all the women that join in the WAFA world are in a state of low confidence, low self-worth, low self-esteem, beating themselves up constantly, and actually just don't see what they're really worth. And so for me, it's about getting them started on that journey. And I'm not a psychologist or a psychotherapist or anyone like that, but I have recognized that exercise and making it in some way achievable at whatever level you're at, giving them an environment where they are surrounded by other women who are just like them. Wow, they're not the Gym Bunny crew. They're not jumping around with their abs out. Oh, and look at the coaches on screen. They're normal women. They're not sort of airbrushed, and they're not all like, hi, here I am for our workout today, and don't I look amazing? They're just, and it's about creating that environment for women where they feel safe and they can be themselves, where they feel supported. And that's really important that they feel their support. They have to put the effort in, and they've got to be willing to make a change. And not all the women that come into my world are ready to change, which is a shame. But a lot of women, when they do, and they start on that journey, they start the exercise. And I always say to them, this is your journey. You start at your level, because to tell them to do everything, if you've spent say you're 40 years old, 45 years old, you've spent since your teens doing nothing than, feeling pretty shit. That journey of change is not going to happen overnight. And I do try to say, this is the start of your journey.
Yeah.
Let's get you moving. And you know what? It takes so little time for the change to happen.
Yeah, you get results quickly once you start to be physical, don't you?
Don't you? It's not just that. It's not just about your body changing. It's suddenly realizing that you can do something, and it's not completely, because again, a lot of women have had really bad experiences in the gym.
I was going to say that, yeah. Or even at school when you did get picked in the netball team,
God,
that kind of. yeah.
And it's just that little opportunity. They're like, oh my God, I can actually do that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I always say to them, you're going to love burpees by the end of it. And they're like, no, I won't. And I'm like, no, you will. But then they're like, oh my God, I can actually do a burpee. I can't believe it. It's a tiny little win. That tiny little win is that sudden start change in their ability to start having a bit of confidence in themselves. And it's so small, but once you get that, we call it the ripple effect.
Yeah.
Things keep happening and changing, and suddenly your body starts working with you. You can do the exercises and you're like, I feel really good today. And then suddenly they go, well, actually, now I do want to shift some weight. Okay, I'm going to have to look at my food, and and then you start making those changes. But the problem with women as well is they want a quick fix. They want that change to happen overnight, because if it doesn't, it's all a bit shit and hard work.
Yeah. But that's, has that got to do with, external factors, the look, how people perceived, I don't know, celebrities, Instagram, influencers, all those kind of people? There's it hasn't actually changed from when I was at school, when it was the magazines. I mean, now it's Instagram, and I can see with my daughter, just the influence of that sort of everything's perfect on screen or on camera, and with little effort, that's how you needed to, needed to be looking, without understanding that behind that, probably those women or people that they're looking at have got very difficult lives and have had to work really hard or do some, silly things in order to be able to have that look. So you don't see the full story behind the picture. You just see the picture.
You do,
And
and that's the danger of social media. And I have to say, I'm thank God I wasn't a teenager in today's day.
yeah,
It must be
tough.
really, really hard, really tough. And what makes me even more angry now are these apps where you can change your eye shape, your nose, your mouth. I mean, what the hell are we creating? This is not acceptable. No, and that's why I love not having that in WAFA. We're not all about everybody, don't get me wrong, we all want to look good in our clothes. We all want to lose some weight when we feel like we've put on weight and our clothes are too tight. I can't change that because I know how that feels. We all like to, I know when I put on a bit and I feel uncomfortable and so on. And weight loss is really important. But what I also try and get the members to do is to try to look beyond the scales, because losing weight is really hard work. And if you're solely focused on whether you've lost a pound in that week or not, it's so demotivating. So there are other things, there's more to life. And so another thing that I love, it's about challenges, and I challenge our members to do things that take them out of their comfort zone, to prove to them that they can do it.
Yeah.
Why? Because they can. And almost initially, all of them will be like, oh, I don't think I can do that. And of course, I've got some members who are like, yeah, bring it on, I'm going to do that. Others are like, oh no, I really don't. I don't think I'm like, give it a go and let's see. And that, again, it's that sort of, oh my God, I'd never thought I could do that.
Well, that's like a reward hit, isn't it? Once they're out of their comfort zone and they've done something, you get this big dopamine hit, which kind of fuels continued. You want more then, you want more, and because you start to build confidence. That's how you build confidence, actually, by going a little bit out of your comfort zone and knowing that you didn't die, that you survived. And then, and then you sort of exercise a bit of a confidence muscle.
And it's also just time, giving things time to change. This is another thing I'll say to members, because I'm the same. I've the amount of times I've done the worst diets in the world because I just wanted to lose that weight. And actually, I've said to my members, look, how long has it taken you to gain this weight? And they'll say 7 years. I'm like, you've been with me for 6 weeks. How are you going? We've got to unravel the things that aren't working, and we need to recognize what those are, and then we need to start replacing them with different behaviors. That your brain, because our brain, as you say, it's wired to be negative. It's the comfort zone, isn't it? The negative. You go through a phase initially where your body will fight you, but you need to just crack on, push on through, because there's nothing quite like that feeling when you're like, going out for, I can't run, but at the moment, but be able to go out for runs, suddenly you're running and your body's working with you and it feels good. Or, or you do one of our workouts, at the end, you're like, God, my body felt strong and I was really felt it, and you're right. It just, again, time is the healer. It's what helps us to change. If you think about, I've done 40 odd years of damning myself, and my journey of change, positive change, started when I was 37. So it's 37 years of being pretty good at saying, and having bad relationships with food, bad relationship with exercise, doing exercise because I thought if I did exercise, I'd be burning off all the calories, and binge eating, all those bad things. At 37, I had a big sort of life-changing experience, and then that was the start of me. That was the start of me changing and being the person that I am today.